a bag of cats when it comes to figuring out the actual math behind it. And that's where Gusto comes in and hopefully saves the day.
Welcome to the Dental Office Managers Community Podcast, where we talk about the issues that matter most and help us to become better leaders in our dental practice. Let's dive right in. Hey guys, it's Kyle. Welcome back to another episode of the Dental Office Managers Community Podcast. And today we have Rach from Gusto, who is the Payroll and HR Advisor. Rach, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me.
Yeah. So, I brought you on here because you guys are new to our community. And, there are some office managers who are currently using Gusto in their practice to make their lives easier. However, there's still many that need to hear about you guys. And so, when we connected and I learned more about Gusto and how it actually is really kind of changing the whole dynamic of practice managers, how they handle HR, how they handle payroll, how you guys are like automating everything. I was like, you know what? They definitely need to be sponsors of our community, and I need to get the word out for them. So, Rach, I want you to kind of go through things with us today. We're going to kind of go through some questions that are commonly asked in our community. And I really want to showcase the power of Gusto. So, if you're good with that, we can kind of go ahead and start. And, I'm basically just going to kind of do like a Q&A style here.
Fire away. No softballs, please. I want to make sure that all your questions are answered.
Okay, cool. So, with Gusto, one of the questions we get in the group very often is like, there are some big time wasters, right? Big time wasters that dental office managers deal with when having to process payroll manually. Mm-hmm. So, how can Gusto change that dynamic?
So I think that when you're processing payroll manually, anyone who knows this, who has gone through it, can know it is a Scythian task, right? Every single week you have to go and calculate the hours, you have to calculate the taxes. They can change from pay period to pay period depending on wage thresholds, how many hours your employees are working, what their benefits are, and it is just a bag of cats when it comes to figuring out the actual math behind it. And that's where Gusto comes in and hopefully saves the day. We don't think that running payroll should be like pulling teeth. We want it to be as easy as possible for you folks. So basically, you're going to tell us how many hours your employees have worked or how much money they make if they're a salaried employee. We're going to give you a preview of the taxes, show you what's coming out and when, where it's going, all of this different stuff. And then from there, all you have to do is press a green little submit button and you are good to go. We handle all the calculations, all the filings, all the payments for you. After you press that green little submit button, we send the government their money, send them their filings, we send your employee their money, send them their pay stubs, and there is no other action needed on your end, so you can get back to actually running your practice.
Yeah, I love that. I love so that we can get back to running our practice because, it does take a lot of time. Like payroll is I guess it's fun, right? Because you're getting paid, right? But on the other hand, it's like it's not that fun. You have to kind of figure out. Yeah. And you got to kind of like always kind of do the calculations. And then, the biggest challenge, which I know you guys help with, is managing hourly versus salary employees. So can you give us a little insight on how you guys make it easier?
Yes. So Gusto does have a ton of customizability in terms of how you pay your employees. If you have hourly employees and you need to pay them different hourly rates, let's say you have a young lady who's working as a hygienist, but she's also filling in at the front desk and she's got a different weekend pay rate, we can have all of those in our system, and we have time tracking and scheduling to help keep track of those different wages as well. For salaried employees, it's going to be pretty standard, basically from from pay period to pay period. They'll be able to see how much money they're making. We can also have them track their time if you do have some salaried employees and you want to see like what projects they're tracking, what they're working on throughout the day. We can handle that for you as well. If you ever need to pay out commissions, let's say you've got a team of hygienists that are just slinging teeth whitening kits and they get paid commission on that, we can do that as well. And we can do custom earning types too. So if you ever have like random line items that you want to make sure are broken out on the pay stub, like, oh, the teeth whitening kits, or oh, the dental package upgrade, or oh, here's this special promo that you folks are running in the practice for your patients. We can itemize all of those so that folks have total transparency into their paycheck. And it's very easy for you to get transparency into your finances and reporting. 80% of a business's cash burn is typically going to be on payroll. So it's important to figure out where the money is actually coming from, what it's being spent on, and make sure that it's going to the right place.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. One of the big headaches I've seen in the group is like, last minute changes, right? So pay time off, you know, it's not easy sometimes to keep track of. Some office managers have spreadsheets, and I'm guilty of that. I've used spreadsheets in the past
Terrible.
many
It's
times.
so
I
bad.
like your thumbs down. It's true. But hey, look, how is Gusto handling that aspect? The last minute changes, pay time off, and things like that.
So it is all automated in Gusto. Basically, we have a number of different ways that you can set up PTO policies, whether it's like accrued throughout the year in pay periods or based on an hourly rate, granted all at once, on their anniversary date, on January 1st, whatever you need, we can customize it that way. But you don't need to track it. All you have to do is set up the initial policy, tell us if there are any starting balances, and we take over from there. With each payroll, we're going to calculate those hours and add them to your employees' PTO balances. Your employees are also going to be able to see this in their Gusto account. So they can see that they've got 68 hours left in their bank. This is how the policy accrues. By X date, they should have Y many hours, which I think is really helpful. Kyle, if you are a dental practice manager and you have a lot of employees and it's the summer months, maybe down season, or maybe it's a busy season and, folks are bringing in their kids over the summer, people can also request time off through Gusto too. So, Kyle, you'll get a notification that says, hey, Erica is looking for some time off on this date. She's going to go to Hawaii. From there, you can either review and approve it, you can reject it, you can leave a note, you can say, Erica, you are not going to Hawaii. You are going to come in on this weekend and
No vacation.
we are going to put some braces on these kids, and she'll get the notification as well. Hopefully we're not doing that too much though. But it's all, you can message each other through there and kind of say like, oh, this is why. And I don't know if this is actually something that's on the way with Gusto, which I'm really, really excited about. We'll be releasing within the next year, probably within the next 6 months, actually. But it's going to be an AI feature that goes through
Mm,
scheduling, it goes through PTO and things like that. So if it shows that
nice.
Erica and Gerard have both requested time off on the same day, and the AI tool knows like, oh, this is a small dental practice. We can't have 2 of 3 people out on this day. What it's going to do is actually message them both and say, hey, guys, it looks like you both requested paid time off on this day. Is there any chance, instead of taking Friday off, one of you would be willing to move it to Monday?
Wow.
Going to volunteer because she's a lovely lady and she's a team player. And what's going to happen is our AI tool is going to take that paid time off day, automatically move it to Monday, say, thank you so much, Erica. That's taken care of. That's good to go. Both of you enjoy your weekend. And there's actually nothing needed by the dental practice manager in that case.
Wow. Wow. So we no longer have to be the bad person.
That's correct. Yes.
we let
Hopefully this is the end of 6 a.m. texts, where it's like, hey, Susie's out. She's sick today. Is there any way you can cover for me? Basically, as soon as we get the notification that someone's going to be out, we're going to try and cover those shifts. We're going to try and adjust the schedule. We're going to try and make those changes for you. So you don't even have to wake up at 6 a.m. Enjoy the extra sleep.
That's awesome. Look at all this AI stuff that's coming out. It's amazing. It really is.
Yeah, and hopefully in ways that, make people's lives easier. This is like, I feel
Yeah.
like a tool that can let people rest more. They don't have to think about it. It clears up a ton of headspace. So that way you can actually get back to, thinking about your patients, thinking about the business, thinking about how to run it more efficiently.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, AI is AI it's still looked at in different ways. Like I've spoken to office managers where, they're like, I hate AI, and it's like, well, AI actually helps. It works alongside you to
Mhm.
actually make your life easier. So, maybe give it a try. But
I think it's a great tool, like it's kind of like a hammer, right? A hammer is not the right tool for every solution. And if you
yep.
use a hammer on every project you have, you're going to have like really bad results. But
Yeah.
there certainly
Yeah.
are areas where AI can make this a lot better for you folks. And outside of the automated payroll, scheduling, time tracking, PTO, performance reviews, we can take care of all of that for you.
Cool. Well, let's move on to payroll compliance and, you know, the legal stuff, right? Because as office managers, we may have a basic understanding of like the laws and the practice, but to be honest with you, typically, um, how an office manager will kind of find out about the law, right, is by saying like, okay, I have a staff member who said I can't do this, or who said I can't enforce this, right? And then so it's being reactive and being like, okay, well, let me look this up and see if I am within the law, so to speak, to enforce this. So because we're not, payroll experts and we're not, labor law experts, how does Gusto help do this for us?
Well, Gusto thinks that you should not be payroll experts. You shouldn't be labor law experts. You should
Yeah.
be experts in running your practice. You should be experts in teeth and dental health, and that is it. We don't think that being a small business owner means you should be an expert in everything. That's why Gusto is here to help. So, one of the neat things that Gusto does is that we automatically send proactive compliance alerts. So, if you are based in Wisconsin and they have just announced a new family leave law, and this impacts PTO and the way it accrues for your employees, you don't have to worry about constantly staying on top of the news, watching local TV shows, national TV shows, maybe getting a dental newsletter, seeing people chirp about it in the Facebook group. You just have to have a Gusto account. And we're going to send you an email that says, hey, Kyle, just a heads up, Wisconsin passed this new law. Here's what it means. Here's how it's going to change your PTO policies. Let's get you up to date and compliant. Similarly, from the HR and labor perspective, if you are in California or New York, as an example, I know those are pretty heavy states in terms of
Hmm.
labor laws and requirements for like sexual harassment and training. Um, we will automatically send those updates as well. You can take those trainings through Gusto. So if there is like an OSHA training, a sexual harassment training, something like that that's required, we'll send you proactive notifications. We'll let you know, hey, this is coming up. This is due by X date. If you don't do it by Y date, then this is going to be the consequence of it. So get you squared away and up to date. If overtime laws, if minimum wage laws ever change in your state, Gusto is sending all of those law updates to you. And we try not to just do the law updates. We try not to just do the HR updates. We also want you to know like what's happening in the world and what that means for your business. So I'm sure everyone's talking about tariffs right now, right?
Oh yeah.
And while that's probably not impacting dental practices too much as like manufacturing, I'm sure it's going to downstream impact things like toothbrush prices or different chemical prices or things like that that have to be imported. Gusto is constantly sending out updates saying like, hey, here's what the tariffs mean. Here's what it means for your business. This is what you
Wow.
can expect and all of that. So we're explaining it for you so you don't have to stay glued to CNBC. You can get back to actually interacting with your patients and actually getting people's teeth healthy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the truth is like, when you're handling delicate kind of things like this, like payroll, people's money, their livelihood, right? It's like you don't want to be wrong. Um, and you don't want to do anything wrong, right? So it's awesome that you guys are really on top of it for whoever's signed up with your platform. Um, the other thing, I'd really like to touch on is, showing the value of Gusto. And so, in terms of like, having an office manager or just really kind of like saying, hey, why should I decide to start using Gusto? Like, will it save money? Does it reduce liability? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Gusto does save time, and time is money in anyone's life, right? I'm sure there are plenty of office managers in the group who have been trying to run payroll or trying to do some task behind the desk, and then a patient comes in, and you're like, okay, I've got to deal with that now, and you're like bouncing around between tasks. You're not being efficient. You're like not giving the patient a good experience when you're like, can you please hold, or I'll be with you in just a second. Um, so that's where Gusto can really come in and actually put more time back in your day, more time back in your patient's day, actually improve your relationships with them. And at the end of the day, all of our plans are very cost effective. They're all month to month billing as well. So if at any point in time your business needs change, we are able to change with you, whether it's upgrading your plan or downgrading your plan. It's easier than changing your password in your Gusto account. But I'd encourage anyone who's interested or kind of like not super happy with their payroll solution, maybe running payroll manually, maybe not super sure the pricing is a good deal, reach out to us and we can always give you a line by line price comparison. We can make sure that it's going to make your life easier. We can give you a demo and actually show you what it looks like and make sure that it's going to work for your business. On average, our customers save 48 hours a year and running payroll.
Wow.
So think of 2 whole days that are stolen from you that you can get back
Yeah.
in your life. And it's an average savings of about $5,100 as well. And that
Wow.
our smaller customers, our larger customers, it just gets bigger from there. So we save both time and money from people switching from all kinds of providers.
Awesome, awesome. I mean, I don't see any reason not to at this point. I mean, the truth is, um, a lot of managers will, or a lot of dentists, right? Like the office manager might say, "I think this is great. We should switch to it," right? But then the dentist, they might hit a roadblock with the dentist, and the dentist is like, "Well, you're doing a good job of it, and why don't we just continue doing it the way it is," right? Um, what is the one piece of advice that you would give to an office manager where they can bring it back to their dentist? What is that one thing that they should bring up when talking to their dentist about switching or bringing Gusto on board?
I mean, I'm a big fan of the line that's just if you always do what you've always done, then you'll always get what you've always gotten. If you want
Hmm.
to grow your practice, if you want to grow your patient base, if you want to put more money back in your pocket, if you want to actually expand your relationship with the patients, spend more time with them as opposed to your back office, just clicking and clacking away in spreadsheets, this is the way to do it. And Gusto is a no obligation platform. So if you want to give it a try and you want to see if it works for you and see if it does save you time and money, you're welcome to do that. You're not locked into contracts with us. But I think it's always worth just giving it a try. Because we do have a great product. We've got over 10,000 different dental practices on our platform. So I think that just shows like how we're a great
Wow.
fit for that size business and that industry in particular.
Yeah, yeah, awesome, awesome. Well, listen, Rach, thanks so much for coming on here today. I really, like I said, had to get the word out on Gusto. Payroll compliance, tax worries, and just in general, processing payroll for practice managers is an important thing in the dental practice. And like I said, I mean, I've been guilty of the spreadsheets and things like that. So when I learned of Gusto, I was like, hey, I need to get these guys in here. I need to get the word out because I think what you have is awesome. Before we go, I do want to touch on the special promotion that you guys are offering for members of the group. Can you share that with us?
Yes, sir. So right now we are offering 3 months free on any of our plans for full service payroll. So you can try out any of our plans. And like I said before, make sure it's going to be a lot of bang for your buck. You can try out different features, make sure it works. But if you guys do have questions or need help evaluating, or you're like, I want to explore this further, but I'm not sure my dentist is going to buy into it, tap us in. That's what we're here for. We can explain the platform and explain the benefits. We can show you the time savings, the cost savings. We can give you interactive demos. Would love to hear from everyone in the group and learn a little bit more about your business and see if we're going to be the right fit for your needs. But please don't hesitate to reach out. I think Kyle, like you've got the promo on the page there, so you can
Yeah.
also start the sign up process there if you're ready to rock and roll and are ready to make the switch.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, listen, Rach, thanks again for coming on today. And guys, I am going to drop that link in the video below. So when you guys view this video, I want you to click that link at the bottom, and that's going to get you the special 3 months, 3 months free with Gusto. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. Rach, thanks again for being here. And we will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Thank you, Kyle. Bye bye.